Okay, we're live. So I'm usually so much more subdued in these mornings because everyone in the house is sleeping, and I'm in my office, which is directly underneath one of the kids' rooms. But they usually crawl into my wife and my bedroom and sleep there every night. Even if they don't start there, they end up there by the end of the night, which is kind of funny, but it's also annoying because I usually end up sleeping in a different bed because they're all legs and arms and punching me in the face and kicking me in the groin area while they sleep. So anyway, so why am I wearing this? Good morning, little Viking coach. Um, so yesterday I get home. This story, I don't know if you can see it, but you can probably see the gash. Oh yeah, you can see it. It's real. Struggle's real, folks. Oh man, that looks worse than it is. Um, it actually looks worse than it feels. But I've got to take a shower. Looks like I went to work yesterday, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we um, we run a well, whatever. I went to work yesterday, and then I came home, and one of my kids, Nico, they wanted to play and hang out. I said, well, I'm going to go for a run. Do you want to ride your bike next to me? I made the offer to both kids. So we went for a run, and he sees this playground, so he wants to play, and yada, 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 starts playing this game. The floor is hot lava. And then we played this other game called Granny. Apparently there's this Granny character out in cyberspace. Well, he was Granny chasing me around. So I run. Good afternoon, Paul from France. How are things in France? Let us know. I'd love to hear actually. So I'm running to this playground and I'm running super fast and I lift my head up too soon, go underneath this metal thing and just crush it. Just crush it. Oh man, I was just like, oh my God, that hurts so bad. And of course, you see that was the result. And I don't know, it looked pretty. I walked home and I had blood everywhere, and I don't know, it was pretty awesome. Um, but like how should there was this question whether I should go to the doctor. I'm like, I had a handkerchief on it, and it seemed like it was clotting up and stuff, and now it seems like it's fine. So I'll have to wash it today and as what we used to do on the farm, we'd rub some dirt on it and we'd move on. It almost that bad. It was almost literally that was our way of cauterizing wounds. So anyway, yeah, no change. Yeah. So Paul, yeah, I haven't heard a ton coming out of France in terms of things escalating or anything either. So that's encouraging that what you're saying is consistent. I know New York has been the epicenter here, particularly I think Queens. What we're hearing with the coronavirus. So um, New York, Washington State was affected early on. I think they may feel like they've peaked, and then of course there's California's got some hot spots too. And I want to itch my nose, but I feel like I can't touch my face when I itch my nose anyhow. So anyway, what's new here? It's very bizarre. Like right now, I'm telling you folks, this is one of the more bizarre periods of my life. And I'm sure for many of you too. Like it's just I've never seen a situation like this. And I think I've talked about it, maybe not on the Tumor Tales, but on my growing up on the dairy farm in the 80s, we had like no money. And like 50,000 dairy farms went out of business in the 80s in the state of Minnesota where I live. And my family was one of the few that survived, or one of the 10,000 that survived. It was like the whole world was like ending. And that was my world back then for like several years, 5 or 6 years. So this kind of feels like that because it's not just my perceived world. It's like the whole world is like coming to a stop, or a lot of it is. And I think it's really, really important to just And I know in France, Paul, you guys are, I think, aren't you basically stuck inside unless get groceries and food or something? But here they've issued that same order in Minnesota for tonight at midnight for 2 weeks. But there's so many exclusions to it that it's impossible to really know like who's excluded. Most people are basically staying at home if they can anyhow and working from home. The one thing that is encouraging is that you're actually seeing families spending time together, and a family can be a mom and their kid, a dad and a kid, a couple, whatever. If you're not a family, it's not a big deal. Like we see people are like, I mean, I'm still hanging out. I'm going for walks with friends who I haven't seen in a while, where we're going walking paths that we've never been on and stuff. So in this chaos, there is some really like positive things that are happening with people, and that's what you got to look for. You will find what you look for, and right now I'm choosing to look at positive things. Just like when I got cancer, I could have become a victim to this, and trust me, there have been bad days, right? There's been days where I've been pissed off, but it's part of it is just taking it and say, hey, this is happening for me, and what's going on, events that are going on around us right now. Take that attitude. This is happening for me. There's some lesson there that we can learn if we're tuned in to it. And a lot of it, for a lot of people, you can read books and do some research on the internet, and it doesn't have to be just porn. For those sickos out there. Sorry, I'm not judging. Try to be funny. I don't want to offend anybody here, but I'm reading this book, Apple Cider and Baking Soda 101, and it's just talking about I've read a lot of the benefits of apple cider, a lot of anecdotal stuff, but this one it talks about apple cider and weight loss, how it helps reduce your cholesterol level, which there's a whole long discussion we can get into on cholesterol, how apple cider lowers your blood sugar, aids in blocking carbs, promotes a healthy digestive system, suppresses appetite, acts as a mild laxative, promotes a body detox. I've done a body detox a couple weeks ago. I did a liver gallbladder flush. That was pretty awesome. There were some things that came out of me where I was like, ugh, that's better in the toilet than not in me. So I would, look at these, look up some of these cleanses and flushes and stuff. And I'm not saying that they're necessarily for everybody. Some might not be for me. Heck, some weren't for me a year ago. I would have never done any of them. Absolutely not. But I'll tell you that flushing those gallstones out of my body, that made me feel like I had accomplished something. Okay, Paul, good. You can self-sign paperwork to get out to go to grocery shopping. Only one person per vehicle. So, Paul, if you can, are things like is it bad? I mean, I don't know. There's no good in all this, but actually, what I am trying to do is try to find some good in it. And one of the goods is, reading. Getting, building up your. Have I been drinking raw milk, kefir, little Viking Coach? I will check out Donna Schwank. It's hard to get raw milk around here. Well, it's probably not as hard as I'm thinking. I haven't tried that hard. How about that? I haven't tried that hard, is the truth, is the fact. Me saying it's hard is me saying, well, the amount of effort I've put in has been very low. Possibly, I used to drink raw milk on the farm growing up, on the dairy farm. That's what we had. That's all we could. We couldn't afford the store purchase milk, so we drank the raw milk from the bulk tank. That's what they called the big tank on the farm. It was like, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 gallons, maybe more. Maybe it was 1,000 gallons. It's a big tank that had milk in it. Yeah, because I've heard there's lots of benefits in raw milk. Donna Schwank, I will check out that channel. Other tips right now, get the funny thing is when you go here in the United States, and particularly Minnesota, there are always, like, we're not used to scarcity here. Like, Costco, Walmart, Target, and there's 1,000 other big box retailers, and we're used to, going to these stores, and they'd just be these huge, huge buildings full of food. And the irony is they're mostly still full. Like, this isn't 1975 in Latvia. Okay, this is not, no offense to Latvia. Gut brain, yeah, awesome, yep, absolutely. But we go and we see that there's shelves that are picked over, but it's the strangest stuff. I won't say dumb, but toilet paper. Because in crisis, people want to do something, and apparently there's a psychology behind this. Why people buy toilet paper is because they know they'll need toilet paper, so they buy that first because it's like $3, and you feel like you can check off a box and you've accomplished something, and it's something you'll need, when it's something you can take off the list. Whereas most of the time, people don't know what to buy. Right? You're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, how long is this going to be? Because nobody knows how long this is going to last. They don't know if they're going to be quarantined or issued a shelter in place or stay at home order. They don't know how, they don't understand what that means. Like, and does that mean I can still get groceries? Does that mean I can't get groceries? So you'll see runs on different things. The latest, when people heard it in Minnesota, because each state is going on its own, with the shelter in place orders. There was a huge run on liquor, alcohol. People panicked. They thought that, oh my God, there's going to be a stay-at-home order, shelter in place, so the liquor stores are obviously going to be closed. So there were huge lines outside the liquor stores, like an hour wait to get into the store to buy alcohol. I never seen anything like it. And then it happened again the other day, and then the governor had to come out and say, oh, we're going to leave liquor stores open. Those are critical functions for our society. Like, those are it is just right. It's crazy, right? Like, I don't drink anymore, but I used to take a drink, too many of them, according to me, probably. And, just the panic, that ensued. And I'm like, are people like operating on 2 days worth of alcohol? And what does that look like? I mean, people walking out with cases of beer and liters of vodka and stuff. Anyway, so people panicked about the alcohol. Pasta has been gobbled up. Non-perishables like soups have taken a beating in the stores, but then everything else is there. For a while there, it was okay. So Paul is in northern France. Okay, yeah. That's the thing here. Most things are well stocked. I mean, it's weird. No need for toilet paper. Just squat on your neighbor's sprinkler. Yeah, well, it's called a bidet. So we are well stocked here. Like, all the delivery services are booming. Like, there are companies who are hiring here, lots of them, and they're mostly people in the food industry, the delivery industry. Let's see, Zoom. This is YouTube saying, but Zoom is hiring. So anyway, we've got some bad stuff happening, but we're gonna get through this. And I am sober almost about 4.5 months. 4.5 months now, completely sober. Loving it. I really am. I've turned. The hardest thing with being sober is, you have to, those initial, I've done this before where I've gone 6 months in the past, and my goal now is to stay sober. The hard work, I think, is in that first 6 to 12 months, because you're going through this cycle where you are changing your identity a little bit, because we have constructed, I have nothing against people who drink. That was me for 40 some years. Well, not 40 years. I didn't start when I was a kid, but 30 years, let's say, 30-ish, 28, 26, whatever. That was me. That was who I was. And the problem is that you start identifying with alcohol, and you start your behaviors. For a lot of people, that you tend to have a real alcohol centric approach, and you don't really realize how much it's actually controlling you, or if not controlling you, it's influencing your behavior for a lot of people. And that was me a little bit, where it just, I felt like everything we did, it was like happy hour here, um, come over for drinks here. It wasn't that I was craving alcohol all the time, or sneaking drinks. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a little Viking coach. Paul, the liver cleanse was awesome. I'm gonna do like one every month for like 6 months until it's cleaned out. But the thing with alcohol, and people who know this, who drink too much, or you start becoming, the gravitational pull of that alcohol orbit just kind of has you just circling around it like a planet. So trying to break out of that orbit and find other things to do, it's tough, because through the holidays, you've got, everyone's drinking, everyone wants to get together for a drink, drink. There's drinks, and you're just like, oh my God, like I'd never been through a holiday period here where I didn't drink anything, and that was tough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't that anybody else was pressuring me. It was just that I wanted to be drinking. I just, like, that's what I did. Yeah. Hey. Oh yeah. And if you guys watch this, thank you, little Viking coach. Hit the thumbs up or the subscribe button. That gets our message out to more people. We can help more people. So definitely do that. That helps. Thank you, little Viking, for the reminder. And I'm going along today. So hit the thumbs up. If you want to be notified when there are more videos, there is a bell button. You can change the number of how you're notified. And then subscribe if you want to get notices when there's new videos. So with that, I am going to get rolling here. Again, I go long sometimes, but every morning we're going to go at 6 o'clock live while this coronavirus thing is happening, and that could be for a while. We don't know what's going to happen. We have 2 weeks of stay at home starting tonight, and so yeah, we'll be here, and I will clean my head up and hopefully have a fresh new look tomorrow. So boom, everyone kick some ass today, and stay well, stay healthy, and keep boosting that immune system. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.